Salve, salve, guitar community. I got a request to have a couple students working on an arrangement of Yesterday by the Beatles. And I'm just going to walk through a couple of the things. All I sent you guys was a PDF file with what we call the lead sheet. So in the lead sheet, you're going to have, you can see on the screen right there, you have the melody and you have the chords on top. Okay. So with no further ado, I'm going to discuss a couple of things. First of all, what are the first steps that you should be taking when you first see a piece of music like that? Okay, how should you study that? Okay, so you come ready for the next lesson. So let's go on the guitar journey together and let's discuss that. All right, let's take a look at this. The first thing that I would like for you to take a look at it, ignore the melody, take a look at the chords. Okay, so some measures like measure 1, measure 3, you have one chord on top of that measure. That means for the duration of 4 beats, the only chord that you need to worry about in the accompaniment is, for instance, in measure 1, the C chord. In measure 3, the A minor. Now, other measures have more than one chord. Let's say 2. That means that you're going to divide that. For 2 beats, you're going to worry about the first chord. For the other 2 beats, you're going to worry about the second chord. Okay? So, for example, in measure 1, you're gonna you have the duration of C, so you're gonna count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and by the way, I don't know if you're noticing, but you're using the accompaniment that I gave you in the last video lesson. Okay, you're doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. For measure 2, you're gonna do something different. You're gonna do for 2 beats, you're going to do the first chord. For the other 2 beats, you're going to do the second chord. So for instance, it's going to sound like this. One more time. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, let me play you measure 1 and 2 combined so you see what it sounds like. Okay? Measure 1. Starting 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? One more time. I'm going to land on the downbeat of measure 3. Okay? Starting again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? Hopefully that'll clear up some confusions. Now, I'm just kind of glimpsing through the music here, and I see that measure 16, for example, you have 3 chords. You have an A minor, you have a G, and you have an F. What do I do there? Just strum. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you move on. Okay? The first step, I would say, to accomplishing this piece well is worrying about the chords. I would say for the first few weeks, or for the first week until, I don't know how much time you're willing to practice for this, only worry about switching between chords, but switching with time. That means metronome should be on, okay? And what I would do is I'm going to turn the camera towards the guitar here so you can see. I'll do this. I'm going to count 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, this was the first phrase. I just played between measure 1 all the way to the end of measure 8, playing the downbeat of measure 9. Okay, and then repeats. Okay, so if you are familiar with the chords, you've been working on the accompaniment using the finger picking assignment that I assigned you, I think 2 weeks ago now, which is basically this. Now we're moving on to the melody. Okay, the melody, treated just like any other melody that we've worked on this far. I have a couple of students who worked on Ode to Joy. It looks exactly like this page I just gave you. You have chords on top and you have a melody below. So what I do in classical guitar, first thing you do is looking over the melody, go over the fingering, okay? And decide on your own which finger do you want to use. If you want to use on the left hand, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so for example, if you're playing the first measure, you have, so the first note, this D here, should be a 0, so write down 0 there. And then that middle C that repeats twice, you should probably play with finger number 3. This is just like the spider exercise that we've done. Usually, if you can, keep 1, everything that's 1 is going to be on the first fret, everything that's number 2 is going to be on the second fret, 3 and 4, and so on. So you're doing, so 1 and 2, 3, 4. Measure 2, first beat silence, then you have, so what I would do, what I just did here, you're gonna do 2, 4, 1, 2, 0, 1, 0, 2. I played completely out of tempo, just so you can focus on the fingering. Label all the fingering on the left hand. And I want you to try this on your own best you can, because I'm not going to be always around you to tell you how to fingering a piece, okay? What I would like to do is for you to try on your own. Next time we have a lesson, I'll take a look and I might change something, okay? But this is, the goal for a teacher, for a student, is not for you to always depend on the teacher. I think the students that have assigned this piece, I think they're ready to start thinking on their own, okay? So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of making a mistake, okay? I think you only learn by making a mistake or two. So go over the entire melody and label the left hand. Does that make any sense? Okay. There are a couple rhythmic figures in this piece. For example, measure 1 again, you have a half note with a dot. Okay. Those of you that are not familiar, a half note equals what? 2 quarter notes. When you add a dot to any note, it adds half of the value. So all of a sudden, that half note is worth 3 beats, but you only play it once. So for example, I'm going to turn on the metronome here, and I'm going to play the first measure again. So you have 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Same thing repeats on measure 3. Okay, I'm gonna play measure 3 now. You have 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2. Oh, I made a mistake. Let me do that again. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Notice that beat 1, business as usual. You have 2 eighth notes. So you should feel it like 1 and 2, Now, when I land on 2, on the downbeat of 2, I'm counting 2, 3, 4. However, I only play the first time around, okay? The more you move forward on this, if you have not studied this in other general music class, or if you're not familiar with rhythms, we can talk more about that, okay? Overall, I would say for the first week, switching between the chords on time might be the biggest challenge. The next section, I'm going to do another review on chords. Now, telling another way for you to practice switching chords without using the accompaniment, okay? Okay, this part of the exercise of this lesson is I'll walk you through how you should practice for the chords without using the right hand, okay? So I'm gonna move the camera towards my left hand, okay? You should have the music somewhere around the screen right now. And I'm gonna turn on the metronome. Basically, it's business as usual, okay? All you have to do is, let me slow down the metronome first a little bit more. You're gonna have starting 1, 2, ready, go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope this clarify a few things, okay? When I said halfway through measure 11, if you're following the music, that's where you should be, okay? You can switch chords, count out loud, slow, at your own speed. That means the speed of no mistakes. Whatever that means for you, okay? It's better for you to start slow and slowly increasing the tempo, okay? And switch the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I'm looking for, okay? Once that becomes extremely comfortable, then try adding the right hand, okay? And if you're all over that, do what I ask you. Go over the melody. Label the left hand, okay? Okay, hopefully this lesson helped a little bit more. I got 2 emails, 2 or 3, 2 emails and a phone call from 3 students that got this yesterday and been struggling with a little bit. Like I said, the goal is for you to work on your own a little bit more, okay? The tools that I gave you to practice, that's what you should be doing. If you cannot do all of them, focus on one of them. If all of this did not make any sense at all still, please send me another email, give me a call, okay? But I will say this. You should be able to make some progress after this lesson, I think. Maybe you have to think a little bit more, be a little more frustrated, okay? I don't think that's going to be the case, all right? If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call me or to get a hold of me. Otherwise, I'll see you in lesson this week sometime. Hopefully you stay flame, and ciao.